In this episode of Fictional Hangover, we talk about Jeff Goldblum behind the curtain. Getting your decree on to make a democracy. Just the nips, not the tips. And riding your bestie in our discussion of Across the Green Grass Fields by Seanan McGuire. Hey everybody, welcome to Fictional Hangover, a podcast about young adult and new adult and sometimes other books, series, authors, voice actors, and illustrators that is full of spoilers. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire, and today we're going to discuss Across the Green Grass Fields by Seanan McGuire.
Standard disclaimer. If you haven't read this book, I don't know why it was so important that time. But it's
because we're talking about horses.
Oh,
it feels like it needs to have the whole pageantry.
Yes, you're right. That's what it is. But then I just started thinking about the spinning newspapers again, even though it wasn't at all the same voice. It's just...
Standard disclaimer.
Okay, back to the important announcement. Standard disclaimer. If you haven't read this book, please remember that Fictional Hangover is all about spoilers. If you haven't read or listened and don't want to be spoiled, stop listening to us and go read or listen to the book. Then come back. If you haven't done this but want to pretend that you have, or if you don't care about spoilers, or if you just love really important announcements and don't care about any of that, then listen up. What?
No one knows.
It's episode 301. And at this point, we no longer care.
I think that ship sailed.
Oh, no, Claire, the ships don't start sailing until next week's episode.
Oh.
Ah.
And for those who don't know, that's because our book challenge theme is we're going to need a bigger boat.
Why? Why did we do this? Why did we do this to me?
Excuse me, we decided on the theme before you decided to travel, so don't be blaming us and the podcast as an entity, because the podcast is an entity. Don't be putting it on us.
Okay, it's fine. I'm sure my vacation that I'm going to go on soon enough will not actually contain lots of murders and or ghosts and or viruses and probably some murders. I'm not finished with that one yet.
Well, I've only read one of the three so far.
Murders.
So,
lots of them.
Murders.
Lots of them.
Yes, a few murders. So, I mean, to be fair, if it does, just don't get caught.
Oh, I'm glad that you've already assumed that I am the murderer. So, yes. Anyway, let's move on to background info for this book before there are any implications. Yes. Okay.
Fictional murder.
Fictional murder. We've been over this, everyone.
Not actual
murder. So the background info... Shocking everyone, of course, I'm sure, because this is a Seanan McGuire book. The background info comes from that one same Nerdist article that I keep referring to every single time.
We will eventually read the whole thing.
We will. So in this one, about this book, she says, Across the Green Grass Fields is a good example of my policy on representation. I have a good friend who is intersex. And they're always talking about how they never got to see characters with intersex conditions in fiction, or if they do, it's like an after-school special.
Oh.
Which is that's not fun at all. That's not real.
No.
So Reagan, our main character, has the same intersex condition that her friend has, and Reagan has this condition, and it doesn't harm her. She's just a normal kid. It's not impacting her quality of life. But it does cause some commotion at school when she mistakenly reveals this fact to someone she thinks is a friend and who is actually, this is me saying this, not the article, one of the worst characters I have ever read in my life.
Yes, I agree.
So then Reagan runs away from school and she winds up in the Hooflands, which is a place where everything has hooves and it's like My Little Pony exploded. Also, that's me. Those are my words. And then at the end of the book, she's back in the regular world. But this is the first Wayward Children book where the fantasy world, the portal world, takes place before meeting the kid. Like normally we meet the person in a book and then in the next book we go on an adventure with them, but not this time. It's the first one. So that's interesting.
Yeah, we hadn't met Reagan before.
Nope.
And I would probably part of my initial thoughts, moseying on over there.
Yes.
Is that I was a little taken aback because I was like, Reagan? Who is Reagan?
Yeah, who's this?
Trying to remember from the short stories and the stories that we've already covered, have we met her before? And I was like, I don't think we have. Let's just go with it. But also, I'm not a horse person.
Same.
So it's still a good story. I still liked it, and I really appreciated the intersex representation. I thought that was excellent. But it's probably my least favorite.
I know. I feel like I've been holding on to this one in my heart of hearts for a long time, going, I really don't want to read this one again. I
think it's because it's the horses.
It's the horses. I don't care. I don't care about horses.
I respect them as long as they're far away from me.
Yeah. But you're right. It is, like, the story's fine.
Oh, yeah.
I don't give a fuck about horses.
I don't give two hooves about horses.
Aw, you went horse pun and I just went horrible person. Sounds the same. Horse pun, horrible person.
Maybe we'll need to rein it in, though.
No. Don't waste the horse puns.
Nay, never.
How many did we do in that one episode? That one. Ooh, about My Lady Jane, which is...
It's on Amazon Prime.
It's on Amazon Prime now, like as of yesterday, I think.
Yes.
Yesterday, day of recording, last week.
It is on my watch list.
I know, same. I feel like we should. I feel like we should watch it
before
together.
Before we dive into summary, I'm just going to say I haven't heard in the trailer them once refer to G.
I know.
And no horsey behaviour.
No, I was just talking about this book at the library this week, going, yeah, this book is really great, and they have a series about it. However, I wonder if there are any horses or ferrets involved.
Yes.
Because that's not what the trailer looks like. The trailer looks very sexy.
Do you know what? I think we might need to... I've got an idea, but we'll do it off record, so we won't have to edit it out for everybody.
Okay, good, because I also have an idea, and it may or may not be included in our next monthly newsletter. Anyway, let's go on and start this summary. Reagan, Heather, and Laurel have been best friends since kindergarten. And it sounds like a really long time when I say it like that, but they're only in the first grade, so it hasn't been that long at all.
It's been like 2 minutes.
Yeah. So one day, in first grade, Heather found a garter snake and brought it to school. Laurel screeched that girls don't play with snakes and dragged Reagan away. Reagan just wanted, like maybe to touch the snake a little bit. But then she saw Laurel's visible disgust, and after that, they, and by they, we mean Laurel, decided not to play with Heather anymore. Luckily, Reagan loves horses, which is an acceptable animal for girls to like. Some time passes, and Heather's mom eventually speaks to Reagan's parents about how she's bullying Heather. Reagan says that if she can only have one best friend, she chooses Laurel for some ungodly reason, and her parents don't really side with her, but maintain that they can't force their girls to play with each other, even though Laurel and, by association, Reagan are clearly being shitty.
Yes. I hate it.
Same.
Well, years pass, and Reagan and Laurel are still besties, even though Laurel is somehow constantly worse. Reagan begins to worry that she and their other girlfriends will change their minds about horses being pretty and will decide that Reagan is gross for liking them. They are already treating Reagan differently because she doesn't have boobs and bras yet, but that's not her fault. Reagan finally breaks down one day and asks her mom if something is wrong with her, and while no, absolutely nothing is wrong, underlining that and putting it in a bigger, bolder font,
yes,
absolutely nothing is, and she's perfectly healthy, there is something different about her, but learning what will have to be for after dinner.
Cliffhanger. Not really. It's not much of a cliffhanger.
No.
It was
just eat your peas.
Yes.
And let's get on with it.
Yes. Reagan and her parents enjoy a delicious dinner featuring baked chicken, green peas, and cauliflower. And afterward, they retreat to the living room for a more civilized conversation in which Reagan is informed that she is intersex. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this, again, in bold, giant, underlined letters. But her parents tell her she might need help later with hormones from her doctor in order to go through puberty, and that they were planning on doing that when she was 16 if that was something that she wanted. That's the most important thing, that she wants to do these things because, again, she's perfectly perfect just the way she is. Reagan doesn't see it that way because all her friends will think she's weird and will leave her behind. Not like, those don't sound like real friends, like at all.
No.
And I wonder why we're so worried about it. But, she's like 10, so I guess it's fine. Anyway, Reagan goes to her room and does internet research for the rest of the night.
The next day, Reagan does something that changes her life. She decides to tell Laurel about being intersex, and Laurel responds just how we all knew she would, by freaking out and telling Reagan she's a gross boy and not a girl at all.
Ugh.
I just want to reach through my earphone at this point and strangle that child.
Yes, I wanted to take her off the school bus, because they're on the school bus currently. I want to take her off the school bus, throw her down on the road in front of the school bus, and let her get
under the school bus. Yes.
Run over.
Yes.
Several times.
Yes. Back up.
Yes.
Forward.
Yes.
A comically amount of times.
Yes. Yes, because that is what she deserves.
Yes. 100% I'm with you there.
Yes.
Well, Reagan rushes out of school and down to a stream that she can follow all the way back to her house. But instead of finding her way home, she finds a doorway with the words "Be Sure" twisted into the trees. Reagan is sure she doesn't want to go back to school and face Laurel and everyone else, who she's sure know that she's different by now, and she's also sure that she doesn't want to have to go home and tell her parents that she didn't want to go back to school anymore. So she goes through the door.
Stepping through the doorway, Reagan finds she's still by a stream, but everything else is different, especially the unicorn she just encountered.
Oh my god.
It's a real-life unicorn. While she stares wonderingly at it, a voice booms from behind her, and that voice belongs to a centaur. This must be some sort of horse-themed afterlife. And Regan must just, be dead, apparently, for some reason.
Of course. It's the only reasonable answer.
And she's gone on to horse-themed heaven.
Not my heaven.
It's not, no, that's not where I'm going to end up. Okay, so it's not horse-themed heaven. The centaur, Pansy, tells Regan that she's in the Hooflands. Whenever a human enters the Hooflands, it means something is about to happen, and so she must go see the queen. But first, Pansy needs to take Regan to meet the others, and she needs to take the unicorn back to the rest of the herd.
There's a whole herd of unicorns and 9 centaurs to watch over them. Pansy takes Regan inside a long room, kind of like a giant stable, where she sees the centaurs, who are all female, and one who is probably the same age she is. Chicory is the young centaur, and she and Regan sneak off to chat while the grown-ups discuss grown-up things. Regan tries to explain about coming through the door and being afraid to go through any others, lest she have to go back home and face her parents, who will be mad that she hasn't come home yet, and Laurel, who has surely told everyone how weird she is by now. Chicory assures Regan that she won't have to see Laurel, but she will have to go through some doors because, being inside all the time is way too boring. The girls laugh and become fast friends.
Time passes, and Regan begins to fit in with the centaurs. There's a rule in the Hooflands that any humans who arrive must go see the king or queen, but the rule doesn't say when.
Ooh,
so Regan prefers to stay with her new centaur herd for the time being. A season passes, and she helps the healer, a centaur named Daisy, when the unicorns start having unicorn babies. Daisy offers to take Regan on as an apprentice, and Regan might just do it, at least, until she has to go see the queen or a doorway catches her. Daisy and some of the other centaur ladies begin to talk about going to the fair at the new year, where they will meet up with their husbands or go courting so they can add to their herd. Wink.
It's a sexy fair.
Ooh.
Soon enough, the new year has come, and it's time for the fair. Regan thinks about the time that's passed and how her parents probably think she's a runaway. She also thinks about how she will be nicer to Heather if she ever gets to see her again, because her world is so different now, and much bigger. It takes a long time to travel to the fair, and Regan spends it riding Chicory and talking about random things like Christmas and husbands, both the human kind and the centaur kind, until they finally arrive. Regan is amazed at all the hoofed people she sees: satyrs, fauns, minotaurs, silines, and more. Pansy gives them bags of money and strict instructions to run if anyone comes for Regan, and to not start anything they can't finish. It's a good rule, actually.
It really is. The friends separate from the herd and from each other when they get to the food court. Regan wants roast nuts and a fish pie, and Chicory wants baked apples, so they plan to grab their lunches and meet back up shortly. The fawn selling nuts is startled to see Regan when she stops by her tent, but the silene is flabbergasted when she comes to buy a fish pie. He refuses to take money from Regan and says that people will buy so many of his pies when they see a human eating them. Regan doesn't get to eat her pie, though, because a bag is thrown over her head and she is knocked out.
That is not conducive to pie eating.
No, it's very hard to eat a pie when you have a bag head. Bag head, not a bag on your head, just a bag head. Whoops.
Regan comes to and hears voices, one of which is the fawn who sold her the nuts. She must have signalled to the others to capture her after she left her stall. The voices mention taking Regan to the queen, but she doesn't want to go, so she struggles against the twine binding her wrists and ankles. The fawn comes in, pretending to be nice, and tells Regan that it is her destiny to go to the queen, who will coddle her and care for her much better than those beastly centaurs. Regan has been cared for and loved by the centaurs, who aren't beasts at all. But the racist fawn disagrees. The Minotaur comes to check on Regan and threatens to give her to the Queen as a corpse, reasoning that they'll get just as much money, maybe even more money, for Regan if she were dead, because bad things happen when humans come to the Hooflands. The kidnappers leave Regan alone then to make plans to head to the castle.
Regan doesn't believe in destiny and has no desire to meet the Queen, so she struggles and finally frees her ankles from their ropes. Now, I have a question about this that I need to ask right now, lest I forget about it for later.
Okay.
Her ankles are tied together and her wrists are tied together. But, like, can't she just bend down and untie her ankles? Because, like, your arms still work, even if your wrists are tied together.
Are they tied together at the front or are they tied together behind her?
Even if they're tied together in the back, she's small enough that she could undo that, I think. Because it mentions the entire time that she's, like, smaller than everyone.
It depends if they've looped the rope through her fingers as well, or they've tied it with hands clasped. And, like, kind of, like, rather than just round her wrists, around her hands. I don't know. That's the only way I can think that it's done. That hands are clasped. Or they've been tied, like, from fingers down to wrist. Rope all the way down. I understand the reasoning why, in the book, she says they're used to dealing with beings with hoofs. So her feet are easier to get out.
Yeah.
Whilst, a lot of these creatures do have hands. So I can understand them tying the hands more tightly. Or maybe they've tied them so it's like back to back. Like the back of the hands.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I question it.
It didn't make a lot of sense, except I understood that she was easy to get her feet free because of they're used to tying hoofs, not feet.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
She finds a door and runs as fast as a centaur from the barn where she was held captive. The fawn almost catches up, but Regan is able to escape. She nears a stream and thinks that finding a kelpie there and being eaten by it can't be worse than being kidnapped and taken to the Queen, so she takes her chances. Luckily, Pansy finds her instead. They race back to the herd, and Regan tells them that her kidnappers were told to capture her by Queen Kagami.
The centaurs are shocked that their queen, who has always kept everyone safe, would do such a thing. But then they begin to question if she really has kept them all safe, if prices for their work and wares were dropping while prices for food and supplies kept going up. They decide that they believe Regan and will do whatever they can to keep her safe. That means running away. The herd travels north, far away from the Queen's castle, to the forest where they make a new place for themselves in short order. Regan decides this is her home and she never wants to leave it again.
5 years pass. This is a really long time in one world.
Yeah.
That I think we've ever experienced.
In one
chunk.
Yeah.
There are new babies that have been born and grown, and Regan and Chicory have grown as well, but not in the same way. Chicory has to wear a new vest to keep her bosoms in check. No. And Regan has grown too tall for her pants and now must wear a tunic because no one knows how to make pants. I feel things about this. I question this, and also the underwear. Like, if you can make an underwear, you can make a pants.
Yes. To be fair, if you can make a tunic, you can make a pants.
Yeah, and like, you know what pants look like. You've seen them before. You've been wearing them.
Yeah.
Anyway, now that Regan is tall enough to be an adult, the rest of the herd has decided it's time for her to go and be the hero that she was meant to be. Oh, also, The queen has found out that she's still alive and is burning fields and raising prices, so she definitely needs to go and be heroed. Chicory worries, and so does Regan, that once Regan has done whatever heroing thing that she's meant to do, she will disappear. The adults worry too that she will disappear into the ground. Womp womp. But they all make plans for her to do what needs to be done. Regan promises Chicory that she'll come back. Lies! Spoiler alert.
Regan sets off down a path and meets a Kelpie. Regan has been told that Kelpies just eat people, but that's not true. Terrible stereotyping. Hoofed racism is what it is. Kelpies are not civilised in the way that centaurs are, but they are civilised in their own way. And they're not stupid. This one, Gristle, offers to help Regan get to the Queen, to be the hero, and only then will she eat her. That's a fine deal.
Yeah, sure.
They become friends, in a way, and he offers to let her ride so they can get to the castle quicker. Also so you can eat her quicker. So
obviously.
Nums. They encounter other Kelpies along the way, and Regan talks to them, not realising that she could have been talking to them the entire time because they're also people who understand. Gristle moves in to protect Regan, but she assures him that no one is eating her before she becomes the hero. She climbs up into a tree to get some sleep before they continue their journey.
Regan wakes to a Periton scrounging around her and is startled, but the Periton is startled too. She says her name is Zephyr and that she's going to go with Regan and Gristle to the castle because a Periton has never been a hero before. Regan is, again, shocked that Zephyr, a Periton, a weird, skinless deer bird, can talk and wants to help. But again, hoofed racism is rearing its ugly hooves. The three set off toward the castle, discussing kings and queens and stories that are different to what the centaurs have always told her. And when they finally make it, Regan continues alone. She wonders why the centaurs would have told her lies about the queen, but realizes that maybe everyone's stories are different. She sneaks into the castle and up a long flight of stairs. A voice calls out to her. But it's not a queen. It's an old, old human man.
Is it the wizard?
He's behind a curtain, so maybe.
It's Jeff Goldblum.
Ugh, I wish.
The old human man was the queen as far as anyone in the Hooflands knew, for they never saw him, nor did they see the human woman who was in his place before him. When he came through his door, he was eager to go back to his life there, so he came to the castle immediately. The human who was there ruling asked for him to kill her and continue on, but in secret, and so he did. It was Kamagi who found him and brought him to the castle, and he killed her to keep the secret, and he's been here waiting first for his door and then for Regan. Now she's here and she has to kill him and take his place behind the curtain. She refuses to kill him, but he's old and sick anyway, so, he'll die soon enough. Regan goes back down the stairs and finds the Seanan, Minotaur and Fawn, the Queen's servants, who kidnapped her all those years ago, holding Gristle hostage.
Regan tells them that Queen Kagami is dead, which is true, more or less, and the servants seem relieved. They didn't want to do all the things that the Queen had asked them to do. Regan asks them to let Gristle go, and he comes over to her, excited to eat a human now, that she's done heroing. And she tells him to go upstairs because he might find something interesting up there. Regan leaves the castle, hoping that the people in the Hooflands will figure out what to do when they discover they've been ruled by a human for so long. Maybe they'll elect someone properly or just decide to govern themselves in another way. Regan leaves the castle, but she doesn't notice the words "Be sure" etched on the door as she walks through. She falls back into her home world, even though it's not her home anymore, and then walks to the house where she grew up and goes inside. It's a lot of just silence now. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway.
Promo?
Here's a promo for another show. Oh, it's finally not for our 300th episode anymore, which is something.
But I mean, if people want to go back and re-listen to it, or go on YouTube and watch it,
they
don't
can.
forget to give it a like.
Have you ever read a book and thought, wow, I would love to see this on the screen? Well, the Adapt Me podcast is for you. Hi, I'm Emily Malik, host of the Adapt Me podcast, and with a guest every episode, we take a look at books that have never been adapted, why that's so, and how we would go about translating it to a different medium. We talk about any novel from the serious to the downright silly, as long as it hasn't had an adaptation. So come and take a listen to the Adapt Me podcast on wherever you get your podcasts.
Well.
All right.
How to start? Didn't end. Like, it kind of just stopped.
I hate it. I hate the ending. I can't believe I just said I hate it. But I didn't mean to, but I kind of did. But I
did not appreciate the ending.
No, because the whole time she's like, this is my home. This is my home. This is my home. I never want to go home. There are other times, like, what's the one? In an Absent Dream. In an Absent Dream...
Oh, she's back and forth, back and
she's
forth.
She's back and forth. Like, oh, this is where
Pick
I belong.
a destination.
This is where I belong, but I need to go back home for a, reason.
I'm going to go and pick up some pencils.
Yeah. But this one, she thinks about her parents like once or twice in more than 5 years.
She's made her decision.
So why did the door show up?
Because she was no longer needed. She did her heroing.
That sucks.
Yes, I agree. Because it means that if you are human and go to the Hooflands, and that's where you're destined to be, because that seems to be what the doors are, that's the place where you're meant to be, your heart's desire, where your, for want of the better phrase, soul matches, then tough. You can like horses, but you can only like them for a little while. Then you've got to go back to the real world. I don't know, it just didn't seem to gel with me.
No. And we got to talk about something.
Oh, this is serious.
It is. It is serious. I had a real problem with Regan riding Chicory.
Expand.
It felt really inappropriate to me to ride your best friend. Because there are other means of transportation. Like, they have an entire herd of unicorns that they could ride. She could have ridden a unicorn. And yeah, the unicorns are really stupid, apparently.
Oh, one of my favourite things is the fact that the unicorns are dumb.
You're right. But it felt so cringy.
It was less the sitting on her back and more the
it's
when Chicory starts to develop boobs.
Yeah, and she's like,
where do I put my hands on her?
Yeah. I didn't like that. It made me uncomfortable.
Grabbing your bestie's boobies.
Yeah. Riding your bestie, grabbing her boobies. Seems very sexual to me.
It can. I used to know, this woman, she was amazing. She had a double mastectomy. And she had fake boobs. And she was so proud of them after she got done. Because she was a survivor in every sense of the word. And she fought to get her cancer diagnoses. It was such a rare form of breast cancer that she had. And it just kept spreading and coming back. And then, she survived so many times. And when she got these fake boobs, and she was just wandering around everywhere, going, check these out, do you want to feel? And everybody's just, having a
honk on them, yeah.
Having a honk. She desperately wanted people to come and have a honk on them.
Yes, I have a friend who is also has done that. And she was like, do you want to see them? And she just, lifts up her shirt. Because she doesn't wear a bra. She didn't have to, because they're perfect. She's like, here you go.
She didn't have nipples, though.
Oh, my friend's nipples are tattooed on. And they look like pepperonis.
Nice. Well, this is going back a few years, so they might have, happened again. She also lost her belly button while all this was going on.
Oh.
But, by the by. So I can understand in those regards. And I'll be honest, I think growing up, I have touched my friends' boobs in a non-sexual manner. They have touched mine. When especially sometimes you'll just be sitting there and you'll go, come here, and you'll just kind of hike the tops up and stuff, or your boobs stick.
Yeah.
It kind of happens. There's those interactions. But I think it's different than sitting on their back,
holding on to them for dear life,
and doing, the Eric squeeze.
Yes. Yes, yeah. I'm familiar with the Eric squeeze.
With the Eric squeeze.
Yes.
I think it's...
Also, with this part,
yeah.
I also wonder, okay, if you're doing that, if you're holding on, and you're holding on to both of them, what if, all of a sudden you start to go real fast and you just pull them apart? That would be uncomfortable.
They'd have to be reined in. And it also depends on how big they are as well. If you've if you're endowed, it's gonna be it's gonna be painful as well.
It is.
And I'm sorry, but there's no grip here. There's just no. It's not a grippy area.
Yeah, I don't know. That whole thing made me uncomfortable. Why didn't
they fashion a belt that went around Chicory, and then she held the belt?
I don't know. And why would this be your instinct when riding a centaur?
Yeah, it should be lower. It should be weird.
Yeah, it should be holding your hips.
Yeah. Which is why I'm thinking a belt.
A belt. Yeah. I don't know.
Grab boobs, grab the belt.
Yes. Just the whole thing. The whole riding your bestie. I'm not okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I think I can kind of...
I can see it in an emergency situation.
Yeah,
or
I can see it to a point.
When she was first discovered,
yes.
And Pansy was like, hey, let's get you back home. Hop on up on my back, because we'll get there quicker.
Yes.
But just cash bestie riding.
Yes. Fashion a belt. Or unicorn.
Just ride a unicorn.
Yeah. I can understand them not wanting to potentially do something that would look like a reins, or not be able to fashion reins. But if you're on a unicorn, if it can be tamed, or it's dumb enough to just follow what it's supposed to be doing, carrot on a stick, you would hold its mane.
Yeah,
I mean, bareback riding.
That's what she did with Gristle. She rode Gristle that way and like twisted her hands up in his mane.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I can see it when they're younger somewhat, but as soon as like the boobs go in, it's kind of this whole, well, your private parts are private.
Yeah.
But also, it's not as if they're wearing underwear, so the private parts are on display.
Yeah, but no, the ladies...
Horses are weird, though.
And, I mean, they wear tunics. They wear clothes on the
Well,
top part.
Yeah, and it could be draped over as well, I suppose. Yeah, I don't get it.
Mm-mm.
I don't get it.
Yeah, as not a fan.
No, it was a bit... And granted, somebody is going to say we're overthinking this.
Of course.
But I'm sorry, I do not believe that we are. Because it's like, if it was in your position, I wouldn't appreciate somebody putting their hands on my boobs, and then, we're going at a gallop or we're going at a speed.
Yeah.
And just being pulled. And it's not as if they're going to have brassiere support.
Yeah.
They're going to be bouncing all over the place,
Yeah.
Going everywhere. They've got minds of their own.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Boobs are flying.
They are.
Weird.
Also, there was so much casual racism in this book.
Oh my god. Full.
Like, everyone who's not the type of hooved person that you are. Stupid.
Oh.
Dumb. Can't talk. Stupid.
It was for a quite short. It was one of the shorter stories as well. It was full on.
Yeah, you're with that dumb centaur herd. They're so stupid and dumb and smelly and stupid. You don't know anything. Oh, don't talk to a Kelpie. It's only going to eat you. That's the only thing it can do. And he's like, nah. The Periton. Yeah. Like, oh, all you're going to do is eat me. Like, no, I don't do that. Because I I'm a carrion eater. I'll eat you when you're dead.
Yeah.
Like,
so,
yeah.
Go and be a hero and die.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot. It was I think it's not just the horses I didn't really gel with me in the book. It was the vast quantities of horsey racism.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't gel with me. I think my favourite thing was the dumb unicorns. The fact that they're not this mystical, magical, majestic beast. They're just
dumb. They're just dumb.
Just dumb.
Yeah.
I did also like the found family element.
Of course. But then that was
lovely.
Ripped away.
That was ripped away harshly.
Mm-hmm.
So that was nice. And I liked there was a part as well when Chicory is developing her boobs.
Mm-hmm.
And Reagan's like, they don't know how humans develop. So the fact that I am not developing the same as Chicory means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So she could just be herself, and I thought that was nice. That was good.
Yeah. But if she had any real friends in her world, she would have been able to grow up just fine. And it still would have been okay.
I like to think if she was still friends with Heather.
Yes. Oh, I have another weird
Okay.
thing with this one. Boobs and bras and periods they're talking about this in the first grade?
Give me an age. What age is first
7?
grade? No, that's too young. I will say though, at like 9 years old or something, 10 years old in primary school, I had bigger boobs than some of my teachers. I needed to start wearing a bra from that age. I was a very top-heavy, fast developer, which is why I have terrible posture and pains in my back. I've only ever known boobs. Bloody boobs.
Yeah,
Damn you, boobs!
Damn you,
Available
boobs.
at a t-shirt at Redbubble. So I get to some degree, and I do remember vaguely as like a 9-10-year-old talking about getting boobs and people saying, oh, I'm wearing a training bra. What's the difference between a bra and a training bra? Nothing, I'll tell you. And there was a shop down the town, Tammy Girl, where everybody had to go to get their first bra from Tammy Girl. And I was like, okay, that was the rite of passage at my school. I remember that distinctly, one of those few childhood memories. So yeah, I remember having boobs very young. Nobody started the periods at primary school. That was quite like secondary school, so 11 plus.
Yeah, and this. I think it was 10. I misjudged earlier. Thinking back on it, I think they were like 9 and 10.
Okay, well I can understand. There is always the odd person who starts early, really early, and boob development does start now. I mean, even my own, like when I go to school to pick up my own son, there are girls who are starting to develop their boobs, which is you don't think this, you don't realise this, but they are from that age.
Yeah.
It's when obviously it's puberty when the teenagers mainly that it kicks in and whoop, all of a sudden that they're there.
Yeah. I think,
but not periods. Nobody started at primary.
I think a lot of this too is weird for me because on account of the diabetes, I didn't grow like everyone else.
Yeah.
I didn't start my period until I was 15.
Yeah.
Because of the diabetes. So
I remember the last person in my class. It was the hardest girl in school, like the tough one who I was friends with, thankfully. She protected me from the bullies. She was 15 when she started, and we all brought a Mars bar or Twix or like a bar of chocolate in for her.
That's nice.
So yeah, it was in book context weird for them to be so obsessed at 10 about boobs and periods.
Yeah.
I can understand the boobs, like I say, to an extent, because people are starting to physically mature in that regard. But yeah, nobody wants to think about the periods.
No, I feel like I might have enjoyed this bit of this story a little bit more if maybe it had happened a little bit later in life.
Yeah, I think if it was like 11 or 12, perhaps, like pre-teen.
Yeah, because
and
then...
and it was...
And then she's...
excitement about it.
Yeah, and then she's noticing, like, oh, all of my friends are starting to look different from me. And, you know, I'm 12 and I still look like, you know, a kid.
You're not physically maturing the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that, and I agree. I think that's another thing that's probably slightly weird in that regard.
Yeah.
And that's just speaking from our personal experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit weird. What did you think about basically Jeff Goldblum being behind the curtain?
I don't know. It was a little weird. But I didn't like, Queen Kagami, even though he's an old man. But I liked that he was the queen, and the woman who was before him was the king. Like, I liked that. But it was weird, and that guy was a jerk.
Oh, completely.
But I like that, Gristle Probs got to eat him.
Oh, that sounds like, Gristle got some good eatings.
Yeah. And I hope that they decide to, rule themselves better.
I think that Regan has stepped through that door and she's gone home to her parents, and she has left civil war raging behind her. The Hooflands are going to be stomped and trodden and pounded into the dirt.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be absolute bloody, in every sense of the word,
Yeah.
chaos.
Yeah. Because...
What she should have done, in my opinion,
Yeah.
is set up a council where you have a representative from each of the creatures.
Yeah.
But the problem is, she's been there for 5 years, she's 15, she's been there since she's 10. Her idea of what democracy is and setting up a council is probably for somebody who's a little bit more politically savvy.
Yeah, I kind of wish that instead of walking out of the castle thinking you're walking back to, your herd, you instead walk through a door and you're at home all of a sudden for whatever reason. I wish that she could have gotten back to the herd and been like, so hey guys, guess what I learned? And tell Pansy, tell Daisy, tell some of these mature centaur women who are very smart, tell them, and then, maybe we can get something going. Tell the Minotaur, tell the Silene, tell Gristle.
The next summer fair, you know what? Crown yourself queen, okay? And then at the next summer fair, when you've got all of the different creatures there and you've got representatives, you go there and spoiler alert fanfare, okay?
Uh-huh.
And I want a full, make way for Queen Kagami, whatever. I want Genie doing his bop thing around everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Full procession. And then you do some decrees.
Yes.
Get your decree on. And then, you can go, you know what? I'm abdicating. Fetch me my horse. I am going to go riding.
Fetch me my
dumbass
bestie.
Unicorn.
No.
Oh, no. Fetch me my bestie. I need to grab her bosoms and go for a ride. Oh, God, that's so cringe.
Yeah, I made it worse. I'm sorry. But I agree. Let's do that. Let's go back to the fair. And, you, as Regan, you are able to speak to all of the creatures because, Regan's not a shithead. And, you've made friends with 2 different kinds of creatures.
3.
3. I wasn't counting the centaurs because they're her family. But she's got friends. She's made friends with the Kelpie, and she's made friends with the Periton, and she's made friends with the centaurs, and she now has spoken to multiple occasions a Minotaur, a Silene, and a Fawn.
Yes.
That's almost everyone. And you've had conversations with them all. So you know that you can speak to them and that they understand you and that everyone can then talk and understand each other. Then you go back to the fair and be like, hey guys, this is my friend Gristle. This is my friend Zephyr. this is the Minotaur that kidnapped me.
This is the asshole Minotaur.
But, like,
They're going to
yes.
be an interim council while I introduce you to this little thing called democracy.
Yeah, but she didn't learn that in school yet. So she doesn't know.
You do learn about democracy by the age of 10. You do. My at the school my child goes to, they have elections every year for their school council, for their head boy, head girl, deputy head girl, and deputy boy.
Yeah.
Every year, and they have mock elections about, you know, decisions and just, you know, things that are going on in the world.
Yeah.
And it's done in a very democratic way. So then she knows about democracy, and she's from America.
I would say she knows, in quotes.
So I'm sorry, she has been exposed to it.
Yes.
She's probably had to sing the national anthem every freaking morning, which makes no sense to me, sorry. So, you know, she knows that what this politics must be around. So there's no excuse.
Yes,
she can set up a democracy. But what she's done is left chaos and probable civil war and mass death and destruction in her wake. So you know what? You don't have the right to rule Reagan. But what you should have done is sort out this shit, because you're 15. And 15, you know, is getting up there.
Yeah.
In terms of, you know, responsibility.
She doesn't seem very hero to me. She is not heroic.
Think she's hero material.
Mm-mm.
No, I think she's actually quite self-absorbed.
Yeah.
But I think she's learned that because of Lauren being a bitch.
Yeah.
So she's got trust issues. I don't know.
I don't know.
I just don't gel with this story.
No. Did you have
It's nice enough, but I just didn't.
No.
I didn't gel. I did. You know what? I will say one thing. Reagan's parents.
Good parents.
Good parents.
Yeah.
We found some good parents.
Yes.
I applaud them.
Yes.
I like the fact that they've waited until Reagan's of an age where she will understand what intersex means.
Yes.
And they are giving her the choice to make an informed decision about what she wants to do.
Yes.
When she's at an age to be able to understand it and physically and mentally go through any medications or procedures or whatever she feels that she needs to go through.
Yeah.
But the main thing is they are telling her she is healthy and she is perfect the way that she is.
Yes.
And that is 100% correct.
Yes.
So you know what, Reagan's parents, I applaud you. So I think they're probably one of my favourite parts, Reagan's parents.
Yeah.
Dumb unicorns and supportive parents.
Yeah, that sounds good. Were they your favorite characters then?
No, I don't think so. I didn't really have any. I think if I was pushed to it, like, I like Daisy.
Yeah.
I like the way that Daisy, like, kind of took Reagan under her hoof.
Yes. Do you know?
Yeah.
I liked Gristle at the end. I thought Gristle was kind of funny.
Would have been nice to have had a bit more Gristle, actually.
Would have been nice to have a little bit more Gristle. I also liked Heather in the beginning, especially when she's dragged to Reagan's house and her mom is like, your daughter is bullying my daughter. And Heather's like, I don't want to be here. I don't want anything to do with this. I just want to go back home. Like, yeah, they treated me like shit. I don't want to be their friend anymore. Fuck those bitches. I liked that.
Yeah, I like Heather for that. I really do. So yeah, she does not go under the bus. She can ride the bus. She could drive the bus if she wants.
She can drive the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there any surprises?
I guess.
How much you didn't really gel with the book?
No, I'm not surprised by that at all. I know that we talked about it being interesting that the door appeared and that she went back home, but like there were no emotions about going through the door. Like, she didn't turn around and scream, no, I want to go back, I want to go back. She just went through the door and was like, oh, I'm back in my home world. Well, I guess I'll just walk home then.
Yeah.
Like, you're not upset at all? You just said, I promise I'm coming back. This is my home now. This is where I want to be. And then you just walk in to your house. I am surprised that her family still lives there. And she didn't just walk into a stranger's house.
No, I'm not. I think. I mean, I don't know, but I surmise that if you've got a missing child, you'd be reluctant to move, because if they did somehow come back to you, they know that you're there and that they've got their room and their house. And when I've been listening to like these true crime podcasts, the amount of parents who will still buy year-on-year birthday and Christmas presents for the missing child until they've been, located by fair means or foul. So I can understand them still being there. But, like, you've been gone for 5 years. You're going to have to answer some really difficult questions. And, yeah, you're right. She said, the Hooflands is my home. That's where I want to be. Which is another thing that confuses me. Like, the doors always seem to appear when the person is unsure that they want to be there.
Yes.
Or they don't want to be there.
Yes.
Or it's there for them to go back to the world that they have come from. But if you want to stay, it doesn't appear for some people. Or, it's more obvious that's there for you to make that informed decision.
Yeah.
The door took the decision away from Reagan.
Yes.
Which was very unusual from what we've seen previously.
Yeah.
Odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you on the surprise. Have an emotion you just walk through and you're going to have to deal with I know your parents are going to be happy you're home and all, but awkward.
Yeah.
I've just spent 5 years with centaurs and unicorns, Mum, Dad.
Yeah.
I overthrew the monarchy. I've left civil war on my way.
Left a civil war, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, mac and cheese for dinner?
Is it time? Shall we move on?
Let's gallop on over to Would You Rather. Sorry, that was cheap. We asked on social media, would you rather meet a unicorn or a centaur? On Facebook, unicorn one was 69%. On Instagram, centaur one was 75%. And on Threads, centaur one was 67%. And on TikTok, community guidelines.
Yeah, that was so weird. TikTok.
Apparently we're selling centaurs and unicorns now.
Yeah, nothing about sales, nothing about anything. And then I fought it and was like, excuse me, what? And they were like, okay, you're right, it's been restored, but it's still grayed out and only like 4 people saw it. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I didn't even change, like, TikTok has its own, like, music that they just throw onto every video for whatever reason. I didn't even change the music. I'm just gonna let it go. I put a little picture of a little unicorn on it, put a little picture of a little centaur on it, a little comment that said, tell us why in the comments.
The curse of TikTok strikes again.
And I didn't even do any, like, weird hashtags or anything. It's just, no. Scams! You're scamming us because we don't believe that unicorns and centaurs are real. It's a scam.
Well, no shit, Sherlock.
I don't know. So that sucks because we've been getting a lot of good comments and interactions on TikTok. Not anymore.
Anyway, we do have some good comments from FaceCB and Threads. Colin on Facebook said, "Oh, now, hey, let's see here. Centaur, find out how they would wear trousers, which is a question that has plagued the mind of man since time immemorial. Unicorn, so long as it's a gaming unicorn, goes around skewering people on its big fuck-off horn. Trousers or horn? Trousers or horn? What would a unicorn wear trousers? No, that's just crazy talk. Why would a unicorn wear trousers? Stupid, Colin, stupid. Centaur, please. I just gotta know."
But I don't think they wear pants. I think they wear vests.
Mm-hmm.
We don't care about our reproductive genitalia. We only
Just
care
the boobs.
about the nips.
Just the nips, not the tips.
Bree on Facebook says, as long as it's an actual unicorn, like you see on the majestic heraldry, give me cloven hooves and a lion's tail and untamed wildness that will wreck its enemies.
Katrina on Facebook said, "Centaur, so I can talk to them and also possibly find out the answer to the anatomical question that everyone seems to ask about them. But I think it'll be rude to ask, so we'll just try a sneaky glimpse." That also makes me feel like Katrina would go to a Scotsman in a kilt and be like, "Doot, doot, 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 doot,"
Oops.
and sneak a look.
Drop something right underneath them.
Yeah. Oh, pencil.
Candace on Facebook chose unicorn because, duh, she loves glitter and imagines that unicorns are like 90% glitter. I like it.
I think the 90% glitter, 10% marshmallow fluff.
Yes.
Fiona on Facebook said, "Unicorn for me, I'm envisioning Tom Cruise and Legend, but only because I love Tim Curry's Devil. So, unicorn."
Yeah, that's one of the best representations of devil ever.
Ever. If it's Tim Curry, it's perfection.
That's true. Drew on Facebook says, "I think a unicorn would be pretty cool."
And Coral on Facebook said, "Okay, Centaur for sure, but only if they're from any of PC Cast books. Then all day long you have Clanfintan from the Parthenon series. You will never find another centaur better tell you to get to Ford from Into the Mist."
Is he really a centaur, though?
No,
He's more like
Ford's
a
not
satyr.
centaur.
He's more
He's
like
a
a
satyr.
satyr. But I love him anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Ford can be the satyr representation
Yes.
on the Hoofland Council.
Yes. Look, Ford can just rule everyone there. Forget the
No,
nice
we don't
council.
want a monarchy.
No, we
Screw
do.
monarchies.
Because Ford is the best.
Ford can be the Jeff Goldblum behind the curtain.
Okay. Constance on Facebook said, "I would love to meet a PC Cast centaur, a la Goddess by mistake." Everybody loves PC Cast, but we love PC Cast too, so it's fine.
Well, I mean, it's PC Cast.
Yeah.
Lydia on Facebook said, "Unicorn. Not so creepy."
Crinoline the Frog on Threads says, "Absolutely no choice. Unicorn." What about you? What do you choose?
I'm not bothered for either.
You gotta pick one. Option C, none of the above, not
Pegasus.
okay. Pegasus. Hippogriff.
Ooh. What one? Unicorn from the Neverending Story. Bye. Dumb bitch. I don't know. If it's I kind of like, I do kind of like the Neil Gaiman, skewering everybody in Stardust unicorn. That's quite fun.
Yeah.
There's a unicorn in a Simon R. Green series that I recommended ages ago that is just behind me and is sarcastically perfection.
Mm-hmm.
But then a centaur can automatically be... I'm going to go unicorn because then I don't have to look at its boobs.
Okay.
And worry about the boobs.
I'm gonna...
And I want a dumb unicorn.
Okay. I'm gonna go with centaur because...
You want to touch the boobs?
No. No, not at all. Because I would choose not to ride the centaur because that's weird. But yeah, I'm going to choose the centaur. I like the idea of having a conversation. And I'm going with this universe of centaur and unicorn. So yeah, I don't know. I just want to have a conversation with them. And like, if in other stories and other myths and things, you know, centaurs are, you know, pretty smart. They're like,
If
tell
it was
the
a centaur,
future.
could I tell it to not come near me because I'm a bit freaked out by its hoofs? Like, I respect you as a creature. I'm not gonna ride you. Can we like have a 10-foot distance?
Yeah, I think you could do that. Yeah.
Whereas, you know, okay, I'm gonna change my answer to centaur just so I can, you know, like, but like respect personal space.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the unicorn's probably too either psychopathic or dumb.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to remember another story where I think there was a unicorn that was very sassy that we read.
Heads will roll.
It wasn't Heads of Roll.
Are you sure there was a unicorn in that one?
Yeah, no, it was a couple of years ago. It was.
That was also a couple years ago.
Yeah, no. There was a second book to it, and I can't remember. Something to do with stars. Let's turn to the questions, and I'm going to think about it.
Okay.
/ go on our Instagram and have a look.
Okay. And would you rather be a centaur? Be a centaur, unicorn, kelpie, periton, silene, fawn, or minotaur?
Not a unicorn. I'm dumb. Not a minotaur. I feel like you'd have a lot of headaches.
Yeah.
Mr. Tumnus was a fawn, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think
Screw
so.
that. I'm thinking kelpie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking kelpie.
I like
For
the
no other
idea.
reason, then that could be a bit scary as well.
Yeah. I like the idea of a periton for that reason. Because they're creepy. They're creepy looking.
Oh yeah, I had to Google what they looked like because I couldn't quite picture them in my head.
Creepy.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Creepy looking.
Again,
So that's,
respect the distance.
yeah. But also you can fly.
You're afraid of heights.
Yeah, but if I could
be as a periton though.
if I could fly, I wouldn't be.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm gonna pick.
I think that's a good answer.
Yeah. Scary flight. That's all I need.
Would you rather ride a stranger kelpie or your best friend centaur?
No. I'm riding the kelpie. Even if he's gonna turn around and eat me, I'm riding the kelpie. I am not riding my best friend centaur. That's so weird. No, I hate it.
What happens if your best friend centaur has a belt to hold on to?
No. No.
What happens if it's a life and death situation and your best friend centaur is the closest hoofed creature to escape on?
If I have to ride it to escape, you know,
Imminent death and
imminent
danger.
death and danger, then yeah, I guess. But I don't want to ride my best friend.
Oh, you're riding your best friend, you weirdo.
No. What are you doing?
I'm riding the kelpie. As a person with boobs, I don't want anybody grabbing mine, so I'm going to respect it as well.
Okay. Next question. And this one's a little bit different
Okay.
because I'm pulling in another world.
Oh.
I know. Would you rather go to this fair, you know, minus the kidnapping,
Yeah, okay. I'm not really hot
or
on the kidnapping.
no, or go to the market from the Absent Dream?
Oh, well, you've got to pay fair value.
Yeah. You gotta pay pencils.
I'm going to the Fair Value Fair because there's less scary, horsey, hoofed creatures things. I respect their distance.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I'm going to go there too, because I feel like really the main reason, and that was a horse pun, going to this fair is to hook up. And I don't want to do that.
I don't want to hook up at a horse fair. That's a whole subgenre in the dark web. No.
Yeah,
that is nasty.
Yeah, not for me.
No.
So I'm gonna go to the market as well. And I'm gonna carry a wasp queen's head with me.
Yes.
I'm
gonna have so much stationery. There's gonna be so much trade. Like,
yeah.
Would you like this slinky? Oh, yeah. I bet you can get a lot for a slinky.
Probably, especially if you straighten it, like Ghostbusters. What's our last question? Oh my gosh, this episode.
Would you rather become the queen behind the curtain? Would you rather be Jeff Goldblum? Or let the Hooflins rule themselves without actually telling them the truth about anything and just, buggering off home?
I think I don't want to be in the Hooflands, so I'm leaving. I'm leaving them. I don't want to be there.
I don't want to be there either. However, I am not leaving chaos, destruction, death behind me. Call me the queen, put me in charge, and then be ready for me to decree some democracy, baby.
All right, you rule the horses.
And then I'm going home.
Oh, okay.
It's just until the fair, just until I can get a council set up.
Yeah, okay.
Would you like to know the story that I was thinking of?
Yeah,
The Star Touched Queen.
Oh my god. Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, it's from a while ago.
It is from
December
a while ago.
2020.
Yes. That was
But
a
yeah,
long
I'm sure
time
there was
ago.
a sassy unicorn in that one.
Yeah, I feel like there was.
So yeah, everybody go and head back and listen to that episode because it's a really good book as well, actually.
Yeah, it was really good. Okay. Favorite final thought quote?
Oh, I'm going to give you 3.
Okay.
Then why are you making that face? It's just my face! I feel like I've had that argument many a time.
Yes.
It was hard to be dazzled by a wet, muddy unicorn that was attempting to eat your mattress. They're supposed to be made of sparkles. Having thumbs is some sort of like having a magical sword no one can take away from you. It's destiny. The amount of times I'm like, I like my thumbs. Genuinely, I like my thumbs. I can do a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I can press things down. I can pick things up. I love having opposable thumbs.
Yeah.
I very often think about that.
I'm glad you often think about your thumbs.
I'm like, oh, yeah. It's usually when they're like itchy and I've got a scratch on my thumb.
You're like, man, I really like these things.
You know what? These are useful. When you've cut yourself. I hate it when you cut your... We have a bread knife that if it's unsheathed, it wants human blood. It's tasted at once.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of times I've sliced my thumb on this bloody bread knife. So, like, my thumb is then out of commission, and I'm trying to, like, because it's wrapped up so well with so many bandages and plasters and stuff on there. Probably should get stitches, but, you don't. I'm cutting bread, I'm like, oh, my thumb's out of commission, but I really like my opposable thumb, and I want to be able to use it, but I can't. Bread knife. Anywho, have you got any quotes?
Yeah. I do. This is something that I liked about the beginning of this book. It was pretty funny. There were a lot of good quotes and a lot of like funny things that were said, and then it got weird. But there were some funny parts. So those are going to be my quotes. You must be a lot of fun at parties if you always argue with your dreams. I also really like, did you call her mother a sway-backed mule? Did you say she couldn't have any apples anymore? Or call her careless in her husbandry? Or insult her hooves?
Oh my gosh.
Did you call her careless in her husbandry?
You are careless in your husbandry.
You are careless in your husbandry.
I feel like we need to... I have somebody at work, she's like scary at horses. I might use that as an insult to her.
You should.
We're always swearing at each other in a very positive, friendly manner.
Yeah, of course.
She's my swear buddy. I might say that to her and see what happens.
I think that you should.
I should.
Okay. They're just not used to how ugly you are yet. Once they get used to looking at your weird face, they won't stare like that. Weird face.
It's just my face.
It's just my face. And then finally, not a funny one. How did murder save the world? I like it. I want murder to save the world.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one.
Find out after Amanda's had a cruise.
Oh, God. If you like this, try this.
Moving on. I was trying to think of like Unicorn and Centaur books that wasn't like Percy Jackson or Stardust, which we've covered. So, go back, check out those.
Yeah.
And I was talking to the hubby, as one is often doing.
Yes.
And he said, Lords and Ladies by Terry Pratchett. Which isn't something that you would naturally assume with unicorns. So he says unicorns aren't the focus, but one is in Lords and Ladies. He describes it as a psychopathic fairy unicorn in the best tradition of fairies. It's beautiful and terrifying.
Excellent.
And the summary is from terrypratchettbooks.com. On Midsummer Night, dreams are especially powerful. So powerful, in fact, that they can cause the walls between realities to come crashing down. And some things you really don't want to break through. The witches, Granny Weatherwax, Nanny Ogg, and Magrat Garlic, return home to discover that elves have invaded Lancre. And even in a world of wizards, trolls, dwarves, Morris dancers, and the odd orangutan, they're spectacularly nasty creatures. The fairies are back, and this time they don't just want your teeth.
And
yes, there is a psychopathic unicorn in it.
it's amazing.
I do like the witches. The witches and Terry Pratchett are the ones I have actually read their series, and they are very, 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 very good. What are you recommending?
Okay, so what I am recommending, it is also my new and indie spotlight, but not at the same time, because we just got an email a few days ago about the book that is going to be the new and indie spotlight, but it's the second book in this series that's coming out. And so I thought, okay, second book is coming out, let's take a look at it. And it's Portal Fantasy. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to recommend the first book in If You Liked This, Try This, and then the second book in New and Indie Spotlight. So the first book is The Last Huntress by Lenore Borgia. Alice Daniels has a problem. Her reflection keeps misbehaving when she looks in the mirror, and the longer she ignores it, the harder it tries to get her attention. On her 18th birthday, she learns why. She is a huntress, someone gifted with the power to enter mirrors and the magical world that exists beyond. But With this power comes immense responsibility, for in the mirror realm lurks an evil that has infected the human race for centuries. Demons!
Ooh.
It's up to her and her 3 huntress sisters, with the help of one handsome and overbearing protector, to hunt and banish this evil one demon at a time, thereby keeping the chaos in check. But when an ancient god pays Alice a visit that turns deadly, it is clear the mirror realm is more than it seems, and she soon finds herself in a race against time to save the life and soul of the one man the gods are determined to never let her have.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Yes. And
The
then
idea of a mirrored universe.
the second one that is coming out in October, new in Indie Spotlight, is called The Last Portal. Hadley Caldwell and her band of huntresses had kept humanity safe by hunting demons for years. But then the mirror realm disappeared, replacing her life with bridesmaid dresses, family pressures, and occasionally hosting ancient deities in her sleep. Dream hosting is no dangerous quest, but Hadley is willing to play along to keep the gods happy. But then the gods demand the Portal of Osiris, which was part of the realm. The gods believe it still exists and claim it holds the key to their salvation. This takes Hadley and her band of huntress sisters on a quest to the sands of Egypt and beyond. But chasing a portal isn't as easy as outrunning your past, and soon Hadley learns that the gods can't be trusted, and some portals should never be found.
I think we've experienced that in a few
Yes.
different books that we've read.
Yes. Yes.
Cool.
All right. So that's it for this episode of Fictional Hangover. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire.
Join us next time as we discuss Lying in the Deep by Diana Urban. Look out for our Would You Rather polls and monthly challenges on social media. Don't forget about our book club on Discord. Be sure to visit our shop on Redbubble at fictionalhangover.redbubble.com for all your favorite Fictional Hangover themed merchandise, and become a patron of ours on Patreon at patreon.com/fictionalhangover. Until next time, remember, the only cure for a fictional hangover is another book.
You can find us at fictionalhangover.com. Follow us on Instagram, Threads, TikTok and YouTube at Fictional Hangover. And find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Fictional Hangover. If you like this episode, check out our others and be sure to rate, review and subscribe so you don't miss out. And finally, special thanks to Liz Emerson for our music. You can find her on Facebook and Patreon. Thanks for listening.